Hey guys, welcome to the channel, Gang Green. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash that like button for me. Today we are going to be talking about the cash flow quadrant. That is a diagram that is made popular by Robert Kysosaki, who is an author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I advise you to read that book. It creates a new mindset for you. He also wrote a book called the Cash Flow Quadrant, and I'm going to break this down for you real quick. This is important because if you're planning to be an entrepreneur, or if you are an entrepreneur, you need to know where you lie at on this diagram, and you need to know where you want to go and who you aspire to be. So here we go. You're probably wondering what the letters stand for. The E stands for employee. The S stands for self-employed. The B stands for business owner. The I stands for investor. It's okay to be any one of these, but I will say this side right here is your side that is, I would say, range from poverty to middle class, even upper middle class. And this side here of the chart ranges from upper middle class to rich and wealthy. So employees, which most of everyone, all of us are, most of us, work for a company. We file a W-2 every year. We trade dollars for hours. So don't get me wrong, you could be a doctor. Doctors are employees as well. So you can make up to $400,000, but you're still an employee, you still have a boss, and you still work for a company. Now, most people who no longer want to work for a company and they want to work for themselves, most of the times when they leave their employer, they go down here to self-employed. Self-employed is basically owning your own job. You are your own boss, you make your hours, you go to work when you want to go to work. But you only get paid if you go to work. Out of all of the positions on this chart, the hardest one is to go from self-employed to a business owner. Because a self-employed person, they use a system on how they operate and how they do their job, whatever that may be. But they are reluctant to teach other people their system. Because a lot of times when a self-employed person tries to hire someone and they try to teach someone their system, that person usually goes and starts their own business and become a competitor. So a lot of times people who are self-employed, they stay in that position because that is hard to go from self-employed to business. And the only difference between those two is having employees. So a business owner has systems, and a business owner has employees. And all a business owner has to do is train his employees to work the systems. That's why a person can get fired and then a person can get hired and do the same job because they learn a system. And what is a system? A system is basically the steps on how you do a job. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and so on. So a business owner, a good business owner, could leave his business for a year if he had to. And that business will still run, that business will still be profitable, employees will still get paid. And he could come back and it may be even more profitable than it was when he left. Okay, so next on the chart is your investor. Your investor is usually rich. Usually your investor makes his money work for him. Usually an investor expects for every dollar he put out there to bring back $5 to $10. So investors usually don't have to work. They invest in companies that they know will bring them a return. So investor may invest in a company that made $100 million this year, and he owns 10% of that company. Well, he's expecting $10 million back. You could have stocks and be an investor. You could have crypto and be an investor. You can have real estate and be an investor. An investor is anything that you put your money into and you expect some type of return on it. Now, as I said earlier, you can be a combination of all of these things. Actually, you can be an E, an S, or a B with an I. So what do I mean by that? You could be an employee and you could be an investor. You could work a job and you can still have stock. You could be self-employed and you can still have stock. You could be a business owner and you can still have stock. So having a combination And creating yourself a combination of these can also help with your cash flow and help you grow. The only thing that I would advise that you do not want to do on this chart is just remain in the E sector alone. You see these arrows here that's going around the E. You might have asked what are those arrows for. I'm about to tell you. These arrows mean that you're just going from job to job to job to job. That's not how we want to get stuck. We don't want to get stuck going from job to job. Like I said, you're better off being an E and an investor at the same time. You can always get money that way. If this information is helpful to you, smash that like button and subscribe. If you know anybody who this information could be helpful to, share it to them. Until then, until next time, gang green.